Yes.
Yes, we can.
Thank you all for being patient. Thank you so much. I'm not sure why it's happening, but so because I have taken a lot of your time, I'm just going to go right into the meat of the day. So first, I wanted to say thank you to all of you who registered and joined me. I'm super excited to share with you all something that is okay now. Yeah. The conversation that gets me very excited, and I have been working with a number of clients privately, and I then decided to start sharing with other ladies who are in the marketplace, women in business and women in the career as well, and just sharing some of the tips and some of the skills and not tricks, some of the skills that have helped me build the companies that I have run and exited and I'm currently running. So this is what the session flow is going to look like. At first, we're going to have an introduction, and right after it, we would go on to the next part, which is to discover your God-given unique ID. And then right after that, we would be speaking on or just exploring how to craft your personal style persona, and then your color analysis and skin tone, and then the art of power presence. Okay, so before we start, I am a Christian, and I would like for us to just say a very quick prayer before we go on to the next. So if you could please, or would please oblige me that. Dear Lord, we thank you for a time in your presence, and those women who have just come together to just learn about their unique IDs and how to project who you've called them to be through their presence and their appearance. We ask, oh God, that you come and just hang out with us and have a beautiful time with us in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Please just type amen, amen in the comments so I can see that. And while we'll go to the next slide. So here, I just wanted to show very quickly what my presence and appearance result has been. Now, one of the first actual proper company that I started and then exited was called Journey Consulting. And this tips or the skills that I'm about to share with you are what I had implemented, which had helped me build the company and now transition. So I built Journey Consulting's revenue to a combined value of 1 billion naira in transactions within 5 years of running the firm. I secured partnerships with a former African president, and at the time, it was valued at $1 million. 65% of the CEOs and founders who had worked with me had said that, meeting me and just, and coming in contact with how I carry myself and what we would call my professional affect and my appearance influenced their perception of me. And here's the reason why. When I started, right, and for some of us who are entrepreneurs on here, you would agree with me, and please just put it in the comments, just let me know if you agree. So when you start, there's this thing where you want to play small. So there's this thing where you feel like you want to do business with other small businesses and not want to be in what I call being in bed with the big leagues. When I started, I wanted to be in business with the multinationals, the big fours, like the consulting firms, the private banks, like the very, very big companies. I didn't want to go in business with people who were small in a sense. And the reason why that happened is because, which we would go on to at some point, after this slide, I had a clear understanding of who I was. I had a clear understanding of my unique ID, which is unique to each and every one of us, and that's why I call it unique ID. And so because I was clear on that, what I then did was to sit and craft it in a way that I was able to interpret my essence. I was able to interpret my personal brand. I was able to interpret all of that from the understanding of my unique ID. So I would walk into meetings and I would have, and these are like, say investment firms or private banks, and I would have the head of private banking be like, oh, Adesa, you look like what you're selling. Now, at the time, what Genie Consulting was doing, and which is my area of expertise, is in affluent marketing. So I advise companies whose target audience are the HNI, what you call the high net worth individual. So that consumer segment is where I play very strongly. That's where my reputation is. And that's where I have really gone on to, just expand, the other businesses that I run. And I was pioneering at the time, I was pioneering that consumer segment. So the private banks and the private wealth and, all of these people were serving HNIs, but didn't understand how. And even with data, so there was no data on how to serve wealthy people, what their interests were, and all of that, profiling them and serving them in a way in comparison with, their counterparts in other parts of the world, right? So I was pioneering that client segment, and I would go to these people and be like, look, this is my area of expertise, and this is what I'm talking about. So at the time, I would walk into companies or walk into offices, and they'll be like, I just say, you look at what you're selling. And that's because I, again, had a clear understanding of what my unique ID was, and I interpreted that. And so what people then saw, or what this client saw, was the outward appearance, right? And this outward appearance, in a way, was very convincing, because you agree with me that people do businesses with people. That's it, not with businesses. So as a company that was starting, what I was able to do, the only proof that I had was, of course, my expertise, education, and the little experience that I had, but also how I projected myself and how I put myself forward. That builds confidence in the clients that I was serving or the clients that I was pitching. And that's how I was able to work with some of the people that we put on here and some that are not here. So we worked on Formula One, we worked with Diageo, we did Formula One, Abu Dhabi, we did Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Like we have worked with a number of luxury clients, real estate brands that are also companies that target the very, very niche market. And then in the financial services as well, we play very strongly there. And I advise private wealth and relationship managers on my proven framework, which did lead to their increase in revenue and client confidence. And so I was not only, and that's some of the things we're going to be speaking on, and what I also teach in my program. So it wasn't only about, my professional affect or, my appearance. It was also the substance to it, right? But what got me in the door, starting out at the time, was really a soft influence that I was projecting that was compelling enough to give me, an audience with these people. I also created the transformative style and identity solution for CEOs and top level professionals in the real estate, oil and gas, media, entertainment sectors that help them confidently transition into new phases in business. So I currently, with AO Coaching, work with CEOs and senior executives, female senior executives, some of them who are transitioning or some who, just have come to that place and they're struggling with how to interpret who they really are on the inside through, the outward appearance. And then, of course, I pioneered the concept of niche markets. So this is just a bit about me. For now, it's over 10 years at the time. So I have helped corporate and corporate institutions and personal brands break through niche positioning, HNI client acquisition and retention barriers with strategic advisory and insightful solutions. So I am a HNI client category expert. And right now I also advise on philanthropy, legacy, and foundation management. So I work with families, family offices and their enterprises, just helping them, advising them on how to deploy their capital for good. We also have solutions that bridge the gap between institutional and individual donors and the beneficiaries that require impact beneficiaries across Africa. And that is what we call, that's the company is called Ascent Philanthropy. It was formerly Janique, which I had exited. And I'm the founder of the Millennial Philanthropy Network Africa. And also, and this is the one that's the closest to my heart for some of you who follow me. So I'm the founder of a family-oriented children's play, entertainment, and learning company. It's called Tooth Fairy. So Tooth Fairy is, I love Tooth Fairy. There we're working with children and we create milestone memories for kids through learning, play, and entertainment. And also I'm the creator and teacher of the Affluent Positioning, Presence and Appearance program, which is the AO coaching. So about the program, the Presence and Appearance program, which I call the Affluent Positioning, is an identity and style discovery program that's designed to help women in business and in career actualize their God-given identity, gain clarity on how to articulate it through their presence and through their appearance for marketplace success. And here the program is designed to help you improve your professional influence capital, clarify your authentic given unique ID and the likes. Let's go very quickly. So this is the framework. So how the program works. First, you have the deep dive, which is my sweet spot, and which is the foundation, actually. Like I said earlier, you're not able to design, and here's the thing, right? A number of people, and again, I would like for this, this class to be as interactive as possible. Have you at any point in time seen a lady very well put together, has everything in place, carries herself well, and you just tell yourself, oh, I like the way this woman looks, I like the way she carries herself, and I would want to look like her. If you've ever had that thought in your mind, please just type it in the comments because I see it so that I can see and we can, discuss it. And the question I always ask my clients is, why do you think that lady is different and why would you want to copy her style? So I'll give you a very quick, I like to tell stories, so I'm going to be telling a lot of stories. So there was this lady who now is one of the women I consider a mentor in the financial services sector. I had attended a couple of a few conferences, the Africa CEO Forum, and one of them, what I can't remember. And so she saw me, so it was at the Africa CEO Forum that she walked up to me and she said, hi, I've seen you in a couple of conferences here and also internationally. And you push yourself together so well. What do you do? This is a woman who is a powerhouse in the financial services sector. It was my first time meeting her. I most likely at some point would have wanted to meet her, right? But the way I carried myself, the way I look, gave me that access, even without trying. She just stopped me and I was really excited in my head. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, hi, ma'am, good to meet you. My name is Adessa. She's like, I've seen you 2 to 3 times and you're always very put together. What do you do? And of course, I got very excited. I told her what I did. I shared, we of course we exchanged contact and all of that. And she said, I'd like to have a meeting with you to speak more about what you do and the likes. Now that's because, it was just, I didn't do anything extra, to be honest. It was when I got a meeting with her weeks later that I then started to speak on what it is that I do and ways that our companies, I could offer be of service to her or, any of the companies. And where this starts from is the deep dive. And here you sit, right? We all know that we were created by God, regardless of your faith. If you're a Christian or a Muslim or whatever, we're all created by God. And scripture says that when God was creating you, there was a picture he had in mind. And what happens more from the north is that a lot of us go on to try to design an identity or design a life that is outside of that. And so that's why it seems like there is a disconnect between how you look or how you want to project yourself and who you really are on the inside. And so after that is what you call the power dresser. Here speaks to the part that women are always very excited about. So the model speaks to your how you look. So your wardrobe, your hair, your skin color. So we look at colors that actually work for you. And, I teach this in the course, but I just thought that we'll also get to that point, to the slide. So you see what I'm talking about, where the colors that work for you and how to, mix and match those colors. And then, of course, you look at your signature scents, how you smell, because this thing sort of announce you or speak of you even before you speak or even before you say anything. I've had times where I would send a package to a client or to someone who is a prospect, and I would receive calls. So after I get to meet them and we have a conversation, and this is not just with women and with men as well, and they'll be like, okay, they say, your welcome pack or your introduction pack for your company, who designed it, who created it, how do they do the scents? So for everyone, and this is what I do, if you ever receive a gift from me, right, you would be receiving a bit of my essence through my scents. So everything that my brand collaterals actually smell a certain way. So even before you meet me, you already have, you already have an idea of who this person is, right? So that's what the power dresser speaks to. And then you have the power networker, and then you have the power communicator. Why did I start AO coaching? To be honest, I've worked with women, I sit on boards as in terms of advisory, where I see that women actually struggle with asserting themselves. And to be honest, I was one of those people as well. I would be in room, like I said, I always wanted to do business from time. And if looking at my resume and how I was able to build in such a short time, in 5 years, the results that we got, that was because I wanted to be in, I just wanted to work with the big leagues. Now I find that a lot of women, so I would have women that fall within that age, the career category, right, who are just starting out or who are just at the mid-level. I would have them ask me, I just say, how do you be in meetings with like an MD of a bank, right? And not like the tier 1 banks, not even, how do you get a meeting with these people? What happens? So I then found over time that women actually struggle. And so I thought, why don't I start to help women? And of course, I have a background in styling. My former life, I used to be a luxury shopper. I used to be a luxury stylist. So I thought, how about I take my experience traveling the world and shopping for women and just advising women, and like some of the celebrities that we know today, that why don't I take that experience and of course my knowledge in business and just bringing it together and what has worked for me, why don't I put it together and help women really show up how God would have them show up in the marketplace? And that's why really I started Janique. And here my desire is really to help female entrepreneurs and career professionals command presence, communicate their authentic, God-given unique ID, and of course looking the part while at it. So this is just a little bit of numbers here that talks about 87% of men-owned businesses survive longer than 13% of women-owned businesses. And while there's there are a number of factors that contribute to that, but you would agree with me, and I've seen this firsthand, how the lack of proper identity articulation and influence capital plays a very vital role in that. And of course, other data and information to support why the psychology, what the psychology of, appearance is and why it matters. So at the end of this, I'm running very quickly because of time. At the end of this workshop, you will be clear on how to craft your style persona that reflects your personality, color analysis, so the palette and the hues that are unique to you, identity by design, why it's important for you to clarify that, and of course how to articulate it, and then the art of professional affect and influence capital. Why is this important? Why? Because a number of people say, okay, why should I do this? And I had received a DM from a lady who had registered, and she said, at first when I saw it, I thought to myself, why? What's the point? Why do I have to register? And she said that after she remembered how hard it was for her to actually build a personal brand, and after that, she then had a baby, and literally hit ground zero again. And so she was struggling again how to really communicate this thing, what her essence is, where she really fits in the world, and all of that. So, and as I read that DM, it really spoke to why this program, this webinar was important, right? So that is why I would say it's important. A quick story. And again, like I said, this is an interactive session. So here, I was invited to speak to represent a client for a transaction. And when I flew in with my team, we had a very, very good meeting and all of that. And after the client, who at the time was the president of an African country, invited us again and started to speak to us about his foundation and how the work that he wanted to do, and he wanted us to do that. And at the time, I was just like, okay, this is huge, because a very massive project. Of course, all of the money wasn't coming to me, but I then thought, why did he, think to hire us? And over time, I became a respected guest. So for every event, for his birthdays, anything with the families, they would invite me over. And he also indicated interest in investing in the company. But of course, that came from the level of expertise that we did. We demonstrated in working with them and just developing the whole campaign for him. So a question which you're not going to answer now, but of course, you're already speaking to that. So why did the president trust our company with a project of such magnitude? Hold that thought, we'll come back later to it. So I'm just going to, move through this very quickly, but this is just defining some of the terms I talk about. So unique ID, gravitas, communication, your appearance, and influence. So the idea is just to define it so that you understand what we're talking about. So the 4 pillars of executive positioning, like I said, you have your unique ID, you have your influence, capital, appearance, and power presence. Discover your unique ID. So here, when you look at yourself, and this is a question I would like for us to just have that. Everyone, if you have a pen with you, I want to believe you have a pen with you, or maybe on your phone, I would like for you to think about yourself. If you have a mirror close to you, get your mirror out and just look at yourself. If you don't have a mirror with you, I would just like for you to take a few seconds and just think. When you think about yourself, so what we're trying to do here is to uncover, baseline beliefs. And I call it the mirror reflection. And it's also part of what I teach, in my coaching program. So write down 2 to 3 things. If you have a mirror with you, if you can pull out your camera phone and just take a look at yourself. Or when you think of yourself, what comes to mind? Again, you're not writing this down for a desert, you're writing it for yourself. So be as genuine and truthful as possible. What do you see when you look at yourself? So yes, we'll just do 5 seconds. If you're done, type done in the comments. Type done. So when I get about 10 people who are done, 2 to 3 things when you think of yourself or when you look at yourself in the mirror. If you're at home, some of us may still be on our way, but if you're at home, take out a mirror. I have a mirror here with me. So yes, when you look at yourself, what do you see in the mirror? Yes, so 7 people. Okay, so when I get up to 10, we'll move right along. Be as honest as you can be.
In progress.
Okay, 2 more people. Okay, so I think we have enough people now. We would come back to this. So the reason why I wanted to, this is an aspect of, it's not the whole part because of time won't permit for us to go through the whole process. But I have a gift. If you stay till the end, I have a gift that helps us explore this fully. So let's move right along. So these are testimonials of people who have worked with us. We're just going to move quickly from there. So yes, the first, so we're done with, you know, the unique ID and the mirror reflection, which is just an aspect of it. And what we did there, the exercise that we just did was just to uncover limiting beliefs. Now, if I may speak to that very quickly again, there are times, some of us call it the imposter syndrome. There are times when you would, when people tell you, oh, you have this thought like, okay, I can't do this, or I don't look as good, or this outfit doesn't look good on me, or I don't command the presence that I ordinarily should, or I think I should. Why do you think that way? It is not really about the clothes. So what I tell clients, or what I tell the clients that I work with, like, man, it has nothing to do with the outfit you're wearing. It also has nothing to do with how expensive or not expensive or inexpensive, right? It is way deeper than that. Or when you see another lady and you feel that she's prettier than you are, why are you thinking the way that you think? So what we had to, that exercise, and when you look at yourself in the mirror, is really helping you to uncover those beliefs, right? And then we'll come back to it at the end of the day with that. So crafting your style persona here really is about who you are in terms of your style. So when you think about yourself, your identity and your personality through your clothes, right? It's more than just your body type, your proportions, or your coloring. Your identity and your personality play, an important role in that. And I'll show you why. So there are 3 rules when we're looking at appearance. You have the profile, which is your style personality, right? So what I do with that is, with the style personality, we sort of look at your interests. And again, your unique ID. So if we go through all of the exercise of, first of all, on uncovering those limiting beliefs, and then go through an immersive, which I take my clients through, an immersive session of just discovering deeply who you are, you literally would know who, like, you would be clear on who exactly, like, you would be clear. And whatever it is that you sort of discover is what we take alongside your personality. If you're cool, if you're a classic, if you're laid back. For me, I love clean lines, I love solid colors. I don't wear black and white. So for those of you who follow me, I don't wear black and white because of my body type or because I'm plus size. No, I wear black and white because it speaks to my identity, my unique ID. So I love clean lines. The color of hairstyles that I wear, the style of hairstyles that I wear, all comes from, my personality and my style. So that's number one, profiling it and knowing where you fall into, right? And then analyze. Analyzing is where we look at your signature colors, which, look at this here, we look at that, and then, of course, identify your body type and curate it. Your body type, again, if you're plus size, or if you're, your pear shape, whatever it is. I'm sure some of us already know this. Then based on that, we also work with that. Now, very quickly, you're just going to think and write it down. Your style type category breakdown. So here, what category do you think you fall into? Are you the contextual type? Now, this is influenced by so many factors in your current time. This may include your budget, your trends, the kind of work that you do. So, for instance, a lawyer, right? There are restrictions on how you should dress. Have you evolved, or are you evolving? What your style has settled into, given the influences of culture, education, faith, business growth, and location. For me, at some point, I was at the phase of evolving. I was the evolved type. And that was because as I transitioned in business or, in career, my style started to change. Not drastically, but, I then started to pay a lot more attention into the fabric of what I'm wearing, right? I talked about loving clean lines. I started to also look at that. I also started to look at the cuts, right? So at a point I was evolving. And then I have now come into the essence type, right? Where I'm clear because of what I was born with. So my approach to style, comes from a place of leadership, and communication. Really, when you see me, you can tell. So when I tell you what I do and how I see, even my tone, you can almost tell, you can marry it together. I promise. I have people just say, oh, she works with wealthy people. Oh, she works with, and it's like, well, I'm not faking it. I'm not packaging. So it has nothing to do with packaging. It's just that it is my essence that I'm bringing to what it is I do. So you may want to just look at these three and again, just ask yourself, where am I? Because this sort of helps you know exactly where your style, what style category you fall into. And then of course, building on that, yes? So here I had a client who she would say she'd worked with the best stylists. And some of the stylists I know, and I know that they do a great job. But there was always a disconnect between her DNA and her energy. So this client is very, she has a very, very, what I would call loudspeaker personality in a beautiful way, right? And you would have stylists like that who she is. It was until we had the deep dive session, which was the first one, the foundation, what I was talking about, until we had that session that she understood why, there was always a disconnect between the outfits they used to put her in and, who she is and why she always struggled. So here, let's look at the color analysis. This is the sweet spot. But before we go on there, let me know, are you following? Is this session, are you finding, tips? Are you learning? Let me know in the comments. Are you finding these things useful? Are you having a great time? Because I am. Are you learning a thing or two that you can apply? Yes, thank you very much, Chidinma. She says what I've shared so far is valuable. Thank you. Eye-opening. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so let's just go on straight very quickly. This part I get excited about. Okay, sorry, I just jumped ahead. You can tell that I'm excited. Okay. So here's the color analysis, and this is it. So this is my introduction using my framework, what I call the AO color methodology. Now, for everyone who's on this call as a woman, you have your skin coloring, yes? Disregard, because I have the light on, so I'm not as fair as this, but I still lean towards the dark skin tone coloring. So you have what I call the chroma. You're either a bright or you are a soft, yes? And under your soft, so the bright speaks, or the chroma speaks to the brightness or the softness of your color. And then under your bright, you have a warm and you have cool. So warm is, you're either bright warm or you're bright cool. Same thing with the soft, and I'll show you as we move on. But I just want us to have this, have this in your mind, just understand this, that you're either a bright or you are a soft. And your soft, your brightness is either warm or cool. Now, the warm or cool speaks to your undertones. And then the light, medium, and deep really refers to the depth of the brightness. So you know how, I know we all use the ring lights, the ring lights, which I have here on here as well. So when you increase the depth, please just let me know if you understand what I'm saying. So you increase it, it's darker, and then it's light. Or even with your camera phone and you're trying to adjust it, right? So it's either light or it's deep. Medium really speaks to if you're either light or you are deep, right? So that's where you have the medium. Let me show you what I mean. So now the characteristics of a bright. If you're bright, based on the color, on the what I had shared, the method, the color, charts, these are the characteristics that are best suited. Now you have your eyes, you have your skin, and then you have your hair. Now, not this week, your actual hair coloring, right? So if you have blue eyes, if you have hazel eyes, if you have deep brown eyes, I skipped the brown here, if you have deep brown eyes and if you have green eyes, you fall under that. If your skin is medium dark to dark, so what I find, I mean, because we're of the African descent, we're blacks, right? So more often than not, you would always fall into, either the medium dark or the dark. So the darker the skin color, the more contrast in terms of the colors that you wear. And then your hair, if you have, here, white hair, that's for the grays. If you have black or brown or copper. Now, I've had clients who have changed their actual hair coloring. Some of us, I don't know if anyone is on here who has an actual hair coloring they change it. So some people have maybe, urban or a shade of brown or a hue of brown, right? Or black. So with black, you have the colors. We all know that you have the color 1, the color 1B, then you have color B, color 2, and then I think you have the color 2B or that. So again, if your eyes are blue, if you have brown eyes, if you have hazel eyes, if you have green, and really it's just taking a look at your eye color to see. If you have those, if you fall into the category of medium dark to dark skin, if your hair is black, brown, copper, or white, you are a bright. If, again, here, if your eyes are gray, gray, blue, gray, green, medium to light tan, not dark. So this really, I think I've only explored one client or, in just walking them through and you would find this with mixed race women or people who have that coloring and people who are albinos. I can't find the actual word for them, but yeah, so those are the people that may fall into the categories of the soft. But for the most, and for everyone who's on here, if you are extremely, really fair in complexion, where you go from medium to light tan, then you are a soft. So to make it easy for us here, majority of us on here would most likely be a bright. So now to determine if you are a light bright or if you are a medium bright, which is neither light or deep, or you are a deep bright. So that's that. Now to determine, remember, let me just take us back very quickly. This is what we're working with here, if you can see. So, we have just explored the brights and soft, right? And now we want to look at the warm and cool. I said that the majority of us will be or would fall into the category of a bright. Now, let's see if you're warm or you're cool. So there are different tests. To save time, you have the lip. So these are some of the tests I take my clients through to determine, but to save time, you have the lip test. You have the lip, you have the vein, you have the jewelry, and you have eye color. But for the purpose of this, I think the vein is going to be very quick for us here. So if you have lights, or even if you don't have lights, if you look at your vein, just take your hand here. If you can see mine, you would see that I have green. If you look at my vein, if I just bring it very closely to my camera, you can just see that there's a bit of green line. So just take a look at your vein. If you have green, if you have olive, if there's a pitch, color to your vein, you are a warm. So if you can see, if you're able to determine that, please just put it in the comment. Are you, what color is your vein? Are you blue? Is it blue or purple? Or is it green or olive green? Let me see. Green vein. See what I was saying? Majority of us are a worm. Oh, Deborah, you're quick. She says I'm a worm. Yes, you are, girl. So yes. So it's a green, because again, like I said, Africans, our skin coloring is really dark, so it's really about the intensity of the dark green, exactly. So again, if you look at the jewelry, if silver looks good on you, you are a soft. If gold looks good on you, you are a warm. I mean, even with my scarf, the scarf that I'm wearing, it has bits of gold and yellows and all of those earthy tones. So ordinarily, you can see that I am a warm, right? My hairstyle, my hair color, this is a wig, but so I am naturally a warm. If you want to try with the eye color test, but this is always the quickest, women just jump on it and they're very clear and it makes it faster. So that's why I like to use that. So now we know that we're warm, yes? So to make it very easy for us, easy skin plus color plus skin undertone identification. For bright warm, you have your skin, your eyes is golden brown, is green, is golden yellow, your skin is yellow, is golden, still under that brown dark, right? And then hair, those colors. For bright cool, you have this. So you're either, again, remember we said most of us are actually brights. So it's to know, are you a bright cool or a bright warm? Yes. And I mean, with my clients, we sit down to really determine where you fall into. But again, this is a webinar. We're just going very quickly, but just to teach you how easy this thing is and straightforward. And I want to add, right? If you think as a lady or as a woman that this is a lot of work for you, then to be honest, you're actually not ready to, I don't think you're ready to actually put your best foot forward. Because for every, if you sit with the people who have, you know, women who are doing amazingly well, women who are, you know, who want to take themselves seriously, they go through this. Now, they either hire experts to help them or they do it themselves. But it just shows the seriousness to say, okay, what am I? You know, even as women, as you just start, you look at your body type, right? You're not going to just show up. I mean, I have chunky thighs. You know, I would not say, okay, well, because I don't have the time, this is too much work, I'm just going to wear something that, you know, shows my cellulite. I want to wear undergarments that actually give a very smooth finishing, or, you know, finished look or polished look. So I always say to people, and this is how I also, in working with clients, if you feel like this is too much work for you, if you feel like, oh, I can't sit and start to determine what colors and all of that, then really and truly, I don't think that you are really ready, if you know what I mean, in building that personal brand or building, asserting yourself in the room or wanting to command presence, right? It is what it is, you know, so I'm not taking too much time. So again, remember, the depth refers to light, medium, or dark. So how light or how medium or how dark your skin is. So again, medium is, you know, when you look at your hair and you look at it and you're saying, my skin, my eye is maybe brown or hazel, my hair is black. So because some of us have, our eye color and our hair color is different. They're different, right? So if you fall under that category, you're a medium. So, you know, and I said it here, and you are a medium if these features are neither dark nor light, or you can't seem to find the same, you don't have the same color between your eyes, your hair, and your skin. So again, I find that most of women in Africa, Nigerian, they're really medium or dark. So if you look at your hair color, you look at your skin and eyes, and you see that they're not the same. You just know that you're a medium. Again, remember, bright, soft, warm, or cool. Most of us, based on our the vein test, we determined that we are warm. Again, if we also look at our hair color and all of that, we find that we are bright. So you're bright, warm. Now the intensity of that is either medium, is either dark or light. Let's just go very quickly. So we have a class activity that I would like for us to very quickly, no perfect answers, but it would be great to just to just work on this. Now, just looking at these ladies, right? Pick any of them, right? Any of the ladies you want. So I'm sure we know some of them. So this is Stephanie Obi. This is Rita Dominic. This is Glory. This is I'm trying to remember. She's an Edosian. She's not Gloria, because Edosian. Glory is my friend. Loretta Edosian. This is Caroline Danjuma, and this is Ekuedewo. So pick any of these women and determine their color and skin tone category. Remember, are they bright or soft? Are they warm or cool? Is it light? Of course, because you can't really see, some of their eyes. We try to make it as zoomed in as possible, based on what we've thought. We've just explored. Determine where they fall into. And let me just take us back again so that you can see. Again, for easy coloring, for bright and warm, you have golden brown eyes, you have green, you have golden yellow, you have black eyes also, right? For your skin, golden, that's brown, that category. And then for your hair, you have black hair or brown hair. And then for the cool, these women either have blue eyes, cool brown, for their skin, you have pink, ivory, their reddish undertone, their hair is white, is silver, is black, and all of that. Now, for Rita Dominic, we are taking it that this is her actual hair color. I know we know her, and that's not her hair color, but I specifically picked this picture because of her hair color. So let me know. I want 5 answers if they fall in, and to know what category they fall into. Pick your lady and let me know who's. Okay. Stephanie Obi is a warm, okay. Is she bright or is she soft? Is she bright or soft? Because that is soft to warm. Okay. Deborah, is Stephanie Obi a bright or a cool? We have a few minutes, ladies. Remember, we're learning. Okay, so she's a bright. Okay, so we're learning. There are no perfect answers, but it's just what I'm trying to do is just to help you, because after this, just to help you determine for yourself. Stephanie is a bright. Steph is a bright. Thank you, Ayin. Steph is a bright. Okay. Okay. Anybody else before we move on very quickly? Do we have one more person? Anybody else before we move on Okay. So let me now show us where this women fall. So if you said that Stephanie is a warm and a bright, you were correct. So this is Stephanie Obi's color. This is where she falls under. So Deborah and Ayi were very correct. Stephanie is bright, she is warm, and she is medium. So why she's medium is because her eye color and hair color and skin isn't the same. So remember I said if you can't see to classify where exactly, if they're not uniform, then you are a bright, you are a medium. Here, Caroline and Ekuedewo are a cool. Remember I said that most women, African women, fall under brights. Again, eye color isn't the same. If you look at Caroline's eye color here, you would find that her eye color isn't the same with her hair and of course her skin. So that's why you would classify her or categorize her under cool. And then of course medium as well. Here with Rita Dominic, and then of course I just got pictures of other women. So see, this woman is really dark here. So she's a bright, she's cool, and then very deep. of course, Loretta Edozian as well, and that's her color. Are we following? Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the art of power presence, which is the last part, and I'm just going to speak of that very quickly. So here, there's something I call the art of power presence, which is your reputation. And what this means really is being able to influence the perception of people even before you speak or even before you interact with them. Remember earlier in the class, I was talking about how when I send you a gift, you can almost tell you can tell the kind of person that I am in terms of my style and if I love the kind of things I love, you can almost tell, and even my sense, right? So that's what the power presence is about. It's your reaction, your body language. So your posture, your emotions, your interest, and attentiveness. Can you all mute your mics? And then, Ali, can you please just mute everyone so that, thank you very much. And then another aspect of it, so these are the 4 categories. So what I did here, the 4 categories of the power presence, the art of power presence. So being able to read a room and the power of positive silence. So positive silence is indicative of power, reputation, and authority. It helps you center yourself for better projection. Again, have you ever walked into a room and please answer. Have you ever walked into a room and then, you're a bit flustered and you're just, and then in that instance, you ask the question. Yeah. So what normally happens there is because you're not centered. And so you come off as not knowing what to talk about or what you're trying to communicate or not being an expert. And then sometimes just the art of listening, there's certain people who are quiet. It's actually it's a mind and it's a psychological thing. People who walk in a room or walk into a room and they sit very quietly, they don't look to be noticed or anything of that sort, and just sit and listen more than they speak, they come off as more powerful, and then sometimes you're like, okay, who's this person? Now, to make it even better, if they look the part, if they're well put together, you would most likely just in your head esteem them and think that, okay, this person is actually, this person is quite probably important. Yes. So that's the power of positive silence. And I put positive there because there is a positive silence and then there's a negative silence, right? Positive silence is knowing when not to talk and when to speak. Yeah. And then reading a room. So when you walk into a room, you don't want to be noticed. You do not need to be noticed, right? So reading the room and knowing again when to speak, what kind of language to use, and how to interact. And I find that at events a lot. So you would never find me at events jumping around and networking. I would never do that. And I don't mean no offense to anybody else. So what I do is, for every event I attend, if it's a conference or something, beforehand, I'm clear as to who I want to meet there. If I know the speakers or if I know certain people who are attending, depending on how I was invited, if I'm participating or I'm speaking, right? I know the people I want to speak to. I know the people I want to attract. So what I then do is, if the conversation, and this is a tip that I'm sharing, right? Whatever the conversation is, I look to contribute to that conversation. If I don't contribute to it at a general level, at the conference level, meaning getting the mic and speaking, I try to have a conversation with the people around me. And I did that very recently. I was at an event that was for family businesses, and there was a conversation. So you had some man and another woman just beside me, and he made a statement, and then we started to have conversations. And the next thing he asked me was, "Oh, are you, with XYZ?" And I'm like, "No." And then he went on to then give me his card, and apparently he was the MD of some pensions, one of the tier 1 financial the banks, their pension arm. And I was like, "Oh, okay." But what I did there was, again, the conversation was of interest to me, but I did not contribute at the meeting at that level because time, but the people who were seated with me, I read and understood and knew when to speak, and then I spoke from a place of expertise. And immediately, and of course, I looked the part, right? Going back, I looked the part, and it came looking the part is from a place of my unique identity and who I am. And I spoke on my thoughts regarding what the subject matter was from an aspect of my own area of expertise, which was for that room, it was on philanthropy and, with families and X, Y, and Z. And that gave me, like, he gave me his card. I said, I would like to have a conversation with you. End story. It's not magic, to be honest, but it's just, so it's being able to read the room, assess and adjust accordingly. You have your tone, how you speak, how you deliver what you're trying to say, and, the likes. And then we have something that again, if you've received the gift from me, my personal brand collaterals. So from it speaks to your business cards, your welcome packs for some of us who are entrepreneurs or business owners, and depending on the level that you are at. But if I were to meet with you or my company, there's a welcome pack. That welcome pack, there's attention goes all the way to the fonts, the lettering, the paper quality that we use. So with me and my personal notes, the paper quality is different. Costs a little bit more, but it's just when you receive it, it just speaks. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how best to explain it than for it to be experienced. In 2018, we held our first Women's Day event. And I remember that the invitation card, I said that this is what I wanted because of the people I wanted to invite. And I promise you all that it had, for some of us, I think one person is on here who received that invitation. And the commissioner for Transport, Works and Housing at the time for Kaduna State, who was our keynote speaker. When I flew to Kaduna to, invite her, and I gave her the invitation, and she smiled. It was her second time meeting me. I met her through one of our directors did the introduction, and she looked at the card and smiled, and she's like, "I will come. You mean business." What did I do? I didn't do anything out of this world. All I did was I just took this unique ID, what I wanted the world to sort of take, like the essence I wanted to project to the world. I put it on my own paper and then I shared it. That was it. That's it. So this is a combo or a recipe that I put together. Your unique ID informs your gravitas, which is, how people, encounter you, how you speak, how you carry yourself in a room and all of that. Your influence, capital, and communication. Now, bear in mind that communication, you have two types, and I also teach that in my program. You have the verbal and the non-verbal types of communication that is used in interacting with people. Yes, so that, and then this also then influences your appearance. So what and why? We spent the last 60 minutes, maybe even more due to the technical issues that we had, just exploring my affluent positioning framework for executive presence and appearance, why it's critical for success to build confidence and articulate your presence through your appearance. But the question now is, how do you achieve it? So what I've done here is just, the background work to just say, this is what it is about. I have proof, I'm proof. I've shared my presence and appearance reports. I have mentors who are high achieving women, and it has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with, and why I say this and not how much you have, because at the time, most of the mentors, and when I sat on some of their executive committees and boards, I was what now? I was in my early 20s. Yes, just near, I think 23, 24. I remember one of my mentors teasing me and saying, oh my God, because I said something, and she said, and this is just 26. So, and at the time, I couldn't, of course, the business was just growing and we hadn't measured the level of success that we had at the time. So it wasn't really about how I looked. And remember when we talked about, the different categories of your style, when I said I was evolving, and then so as we continue to grow in terms of, in prosperity as a business, I then evolved, meaning that, like I said, I love clean lines, I then started to look a lot more polished. But what I'm saying to you is that it has nothing to do really with how much, or if you're wearing a pair of Manolos, or I had to speak about shoes for those that follow me, that I love shoes, or your 120 MMs, which I always talk about with the loops. It has nothing to do with if you're wearing that or you're wearing a shoe that is not as expensive as that. It is an understanding, again, here of your unique ID, and it influences every other aspect of your positioning as a business professional, a person, or professional, or career professional. So how do you achieve and implement this? I've created a course or a program for you. And it's the Presence and Appearance Coaching Program, a 5-week identity and style discovery program that would help you build confidence and gravitas to attract the relationships, the clients, and the networks that you desire. Like I said, earlier on in this program, when I started my first actual business, I did not want to do business. And no offense, I was not interested in the mom and pop shops. I had my eyes on the GT banks and the PWCs and the multinationals of the world. I had my eyes on the private jet companies. Those were the kind of clients I wanted to serve. And again, I knew that I needed to sell and position and put myself in a way that spoke to what I was talking about. So when I went into the private wealth rooms and I was sitting with MDs of the banks, I promise, because again, I'm a Christian, so time and chance happens, yes? So it's not, of course, there is the question of grace, and I'm not going to speak to that, but because we're talking about business here, right? I was prepared, every aspect. So in terms of the expertise and know-how of industry or sector, I was and I am very clear, and I understand it like I know my name, yes, and continue to. But also, I projected an image that will compel you to want to do business with me. So again, that's what, because for everyone who's on here, you either want to build your networks, you want to expand your networks, or you want to build relationships. This is how what I'm sharing with you is how to do it. You will go from being confused on what to wear to showing up powerfully at board meetings, at conferences, and at events and work in general. If I share, I think I wanted to put it on here, but I could share, if you follow me on Instagram, I've had 2 to 3 people who are attending conferences, and they just send me a message. I dare say I'm attending a conference, and these are like, senior level executives. I dare say I'm attending a conference. How do I show up? I can even pull up, this message. I'm not sure if it's on this, but yeah, just how do I show up? And it's not what to wear. And the issue is we think it's what to wear. It's not what to wear. It's not what to wear. It's much more than what to wear. So this program, my Presence and Appearance program, coaching program, will teach and speak deeply to that, which is what we've touched on. And then, of course, help you master the skill of soft influence, which, gives that perception of power, of trust, and credibility. Again, people do businesses with people, not with the business. And I have an example. Because if I had, in securing an account of a former president of an African country, it wasn't about, and the business was about 2 years or 3 at the time. So it wasn't about the business in itself. It was really about the person who was selling the business. And then improve your verbal and non-verbal communication skills. So that's what this program is supposed to help you do. By the end of Module 1, again, I touched a little bit on, those baseline beliefs. So we'll uncover the baseline beliefs, and see what, is holding you back, those limiting things. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed at what is holding you back from just showing up authentically. Some people have issues from their childhood, and these are grown women. And I speak for myself, and I'm as authentic and as honest as can be. I also had to address, and I'm still having to address, deep-seated issues. And it's not that when you say, okay, you're self-sabotaging, the reason why you're self-sabotaging or the reason why you can't speak up at an event has nothing to do with how you're feeling that day, or if you're beautiful, if you have an outfit that looks good. It goes way deeper than that. And sometimes it goes all the way to childhood circumstances
I'm in a class, but
your life,
so what's the
right?
issue?
And after that, we're realigning your thoughts to see yourself just the way God sees you.
Later.
Because when God was creating you, he had a picture. Every woman who's on here, when you were being created, God had a picture. The Bible says that he knitted your most intricate parts, meaning when I think of it, I think of my most intricate parts down to the nail, like the interests that I have, the things that I love, the things I'm drawn to. It was God who was knitting that together carefully. And mine is different from Deborah's, it's different from Benedicta's, it's different from Toroti. They're two different things. You cannot, the picture he had in mind for Benedicta is different from the picture he had in mind, he had in mind at the time for Adibola. And each and every one of us in business and in career, I'm here to tell you that you are sent. If you're in the marketplace, you have a role to play. At work, you have a role to play. And it's only until you come into that, your most authentic self. And you know, I have a mentor who talks about authenticity, showing up as your most authentic self. And you know, to be honest, I used to use that word loosely at some point. It was when I started to, you know, of course, doing the work on myself, and also just working with women and taking them through this, that I started to understand that to walk in your most authentic self really is to understand who you were created to be, who you were designed to be. I promise you, if you love certain, the colors you love, the colors you're drawn to, the type of outfit, your style, it is from an authentic place. It's not about any other person. It's not because this person looks this way, or because, like I said, I don't wear black and white because of my body type. I wear black and white because it speaks to who I am and the image and the essence that I'm putting out to the world. And so, you know, you would understand what it means to define your unique idea and then craft your own identity by design. And then, of course, we'd also look at the power dresser. Here, we go a lot deeper. We look at your hairstyles, or hairstyles, if you like, you know, you like to play around with different things. We look at the colors that look good on you, not just your outfit, but even hair colors that flatter you, hairstyles that also look good on you based on your face shapes. So we look at your face shape, we look at the structures, we explore all of that, and then also grooming. Remember, I talk about, you know, your nail colors these things are very, very little details, but those are the details that set you apart. Those are the details that set you apart. There's a woman who, when I was growing up and I used to work in fashion, right? I worked in fashion weeks, and we used to admire her. I don't know if some of you know her, Ifeoma Williams. If you know her, you know, just put it in the comment. Yes. Ifeoma Williams, then when I look at that woman at the time, I used to say there's just something about her. I promise you, she used to wear her hair in a ponytail, she just used to pull her hair to the back. I do that sometimes as well. Ifeoma Williams used to pull her hair to the back and maybe give a side part or a center part. And every time she shows up, because I had met her a couple of times through Fashion Week, you know, and I would be like, there's just something about this woman that is, you know, I'm wearing a blouse that she's wearing a blouse, right? And when she speaks, I'm like, Lord Jesus. Now, again, of course, she's an image consultant, but she understood it early enough. And that helped her stand out, and of course helped drive her career to where, all the, people that she worked with, right? But that was one of the women that I really admired. That's the thing. It was hair, it was nail color, it was, the choice of colors, makeup, things like just very little details. So we're going to be looking at those grooming essentials that really give you a polished look. And then after that, we would look at your power presence, like I talked about, I just talked about how to show up, how to craft your positioning statements and your strategy. We would craft that strategy, how you want to show up, based on, that's understanding the psychology of it in itself, of power presence and soft influence, and how you fascinate. Everybody has their fascinating factor. I have mine. I know how to leverage it. I know how to wield it to my advantage. And again, we're women, right? So it's important. And there is the idea that, or the lie that we've been sold, that you don't bring your femininity to the boardroom. That's what makes you different. The idea is not to be like a man. It's not to project that masculine air that people talk about, or aura. No, you bring that femininity to the boardroom, you close your deals, and you make a lot of money. So yes, so you have that power presence, and then the power communicator. We look at the two parts of it. First is the verbal and non-verbal communication for interactions, and then we look at your personal brand, collaterals, your aesthetics, and all of that. We'll design that with you. And then again, this is not personal branding. And again, no offense, because these are areas that I've played. I used to be in corporate comms, I used to be in PR, when I was in paid, like in proper 9 to 5. And this is not it. And the mistake that a lot of us make is we think that you can just slap on, if you're a luxury brand, it's gold. If it's this, no, that's not it. It's way deeper than that, and we take you through that and help you design it. And then, of course, the implementation phase, which we just go over that. And this is the value of the coaching program. Now, the different offerings that you get, the benefits that you get from here, you get free curated wardrobe, basic checklist and support. You have 25% discount on styling for professional shoots. You have 15% discount on your LinkedIn profile makeover by Forbes recognized LinkedIn coach and expert. So we help you with that as well, because that speaks to your personal brand. We have weekly live sessions, activation, your personal identity and style brief. So for every client that we work with, you have a brief. For the purpose of confidentiality, I can't share where everything from literally all you need to do really, if you want to go shopping or if you want to work with a stylist or whatever it is, just hand them that. It speaks to every aspect of your presence and appearance as a personality, as a professional. So it comes with that. And then we have the private reflection calls, especially for the deep dive. And then your downloadable personal color palette. So those color palettes and style profiling that we looked at, I would help you determine that. So you know all the colors when you're going shopping, you know the colors that look good on you. It's not trial and error anymore. And so this is all of it. Of course, there's a free mood board curation and shoot direction. So if you're looking to have a photo shoot, all your headshots and all of that, this is all of that package. Now, if I were to offer this as a service individually or separately for all of the clients, that's the value that it comes up to, and even much more, to be honest, because it's actually my time, right? However, I'm offering it at a discount and a one-time investment of $450. And with that, you also get a 12-month free membership access to all of the resources and the programs that I offer. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then your free gift. So in the beginning of this session, I said that I had a free gift after the deep dive. So I'm offering a 30-minute VIP call to discuss your mirror reflection. So we're going to send you an email. If you signed up for this program, we're going to send you an email with the link to get on a call with me, and let's just discuss what you saw. Remember what you wrote down. Let's discuss it and let's see. The link will be shared with you via email. For you so you can grab that. It's available for a period of time, and after that, of course, it goes. And then there would be a link. Ali, if you can just put the link on here if you'd like to sign up for this program. The link is also going to be, we're going to be sharing it via email, but Ali, please put the link on here for those who may be interested or might be interested to just see. And this is my parting question to you. What are you saying to the world about how you show up? I leave you with this question, as I say thank you for your time. I've had a beautiful, beautiful session with you. So yes, tell me, how has this class been? What are just let's talk. We're done. Tell me, did you enjoy it? Are you taking anything from it? I would like to know. Let me see. Loved it. Thank you, Ugo. Hi, Ugo. Hi. Thank you. The class was insightful and the content is rich. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's a very impactful. Thank you. Just wanted to thank you. Very impactful. The class was insightful and the content is rich, eye-opening and convicting. Thank you. You're welcome, Pumi. I hope you had a good time. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is good night. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you all. Chimezu, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for staying till the end. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad. Good night. Have yourself a beautiful evening. And I hope to have you on the group coaching program. Good night, Anu. Good night. Thank you. Tolulope, thank you so much. It was really insightful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you found it insightful. Okay. We're going to meet up. Yes. Thank you, Benedict. Thank you, Toroti. Ogochukwu, thank you. Suzanne, thank you so much. So I need to stop recording. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Great designs. I look beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.